On a Monday, plenty of both. Here we go.
Where Colin was right.
Well, I thought the Warriors would win the series, but I also said that here's what the series is going to look like. Between Wiggins and Draymond Green, they're going to make life more difficult for Luka. He'll still score his points, but it'll be more difficult. And he's shooting like 45% against the Warriors. It was 48% against the Suns, and he really controlled the Phoenix series. He does not now. They're going after him. They're flying by him. They're just talented enough defensively. They have enough length and enough quickness to just make it difficult. The great players are always going to score. But can you make them shoot 44%, not 49%? And that's what I thought the Warriors would do. They're flexible. They're deep. They have willing players. I mean, you can watch on all this video. They're just making life hard. And Phoenix did not, and we predicted that.
Where Colin was wrong.
I didn't think after the 2 games in Miami the Heat would win another game in this series, but inexplicably the Celtics mailed it in. And Miami, Bam Adebayo was fantastic. He disappeared in the first 2 games of this series. It is interesting to see what you're going to get from Jimmy Butler. So he has knee inflammation. That has been sort of a nagging issue with him. They're not winning this series maybe with him, but definitely not without him. But it was surprising. Now, Tyler Hero, I read this morning, is not playing in Game 4. Not great for them, but not too punitive.
Where Colin was right.
After Nick Saban ripped Jimbo Fisher last week for some allegations about recruiting and name, image, likeness, I said Saban needs to apologize immediately. He has a higher standard than the rest of the sport. He is the godfather of college football. There's a standard with him. Well, he apologized about 12 hours later. Many in the media said he was right. It doesn't matter if he's right. You can't make damning accusations without proof, especially when you're the gold standard. I mean, here's the thing about Saban. They've never been caught cheating. Of all my sources in college football, I've never had anybody tell me Alabama's cheating. I've had people tell me a lot of SEC teams are. So there's a certain standard from Saban, and I thought it was below his standard, and he did apologize.
Where Colin was wrong.
Well, the story leaked last week that the Lakers are going to keep Russell Westbrook, and they are asking possible coaches how they'll make Westbrook work. The answer is, of course, you can't. But the fact that they're going all in on Westbrook is completely nonsensical to me. He's toxic, lacks the requisite self-awareness, but they're clinging to it. And now, is it just a sales job to the media? Is it just basically sending the message out, we're not desperate to trade him, so they get more back in a trade? Quite possibly. But the fact that the Lakers still think there's hope with this relationship is just a million miles past me.
Where Colin was right.
USC was going to get really good really fast, and they've now landed the best quarterback, Caleb Williams, available in the transfer portal, and now the best wide receiver available, Jordan Addison. Every time these college fans, Michigan will never be good again, and Alabama's dead before Saban, and Oklahoma, great brands in college sports always rebound. It's Kentucky basketball can have a downtrend, or Florida football. USC is a massive brand. It's the biggest college football brand west of the Mississippi. They have landed the #1 transfer portal class. They're not going to win a national title this year. They're going to be really good, but they're going to vie for it by next year, just like Oklahoma did in the second year with Stoops, or Florida did in the second year with Urban. This is how it works. It's college sports. And the transfer portal is a huge benefit that Saban didn't even have. Harbaugh didn't even have, turning around those all-time brands.
Where Colin was wrong.
Well, I've been saying for about a decade, New York sports teams are a mess. I don't see light at the end of the tunnel outside of the Yankees, but both the Mets and the Yankees now are playing great baseball. Both are in first place. Mets lead the National League in wins. Yankees lead the American League in wins. Now, Aaron Judge for the Yankees is playing for a contract. He and Giancarlo Stanton are playing power baseball. Are the Yankees 2 home run dependent? Well, they got 3 guys with over 10 home runs, 10 or more home runs. Now, the Mets, my feeling on the Mets is they have had more pitching injuries than I can even recall over the last 7 or 8 years, and Max Scherzer now. is dealing with something. But you know what? They deserve a lot of credit. It's the summer of New York baseball. Yankee fans have seen it before. The Mets fans see it infrequently, and it's something to celebrate.
Where Colin was right.
I love Tiger Woods. We all love Tiger Woods. But the people in the media that think he's a viable contender for majors, folks, those are over. Those are over. You can't, that car crash, it's over. I thought it was over before that accident in Palos Verdes, California. And then he stunned us all with a win in Augusta, which is one of the great golf moments of all of our lives. He's limping on Thursday. The idea, first of all, the quality of golf competition globally is the best it's ever been. But they don't all show up to random events. But when you get majors, and you're talking about the world's best golfers, folks, it's never been harder to win. And Tiger's not winning these things. The idea, he can have a great round, but 4 great rounds against the world's best golfers, that ship has sailed. Doesn't mean I don't like him. Doesn't mean I don't think he has guts and he's not competitive. I mean, we all know the whole thing here. There's a reason the galleries follow him around. Everybody's rooting for Tiger now. They weren't early. They are now. But when you talk about winning majors, that's the difference between the NBA regular season and the conference finals. It's a different brand of intensity and talent and coaching and culture. And I think the ship has sailed. I think people are confusing wanting Tiger to win and realistically thinking he has a chance to win, and he doesn't. Not majors, not any longer. All right, Rick, during the break, the Warriors are so much more fun to watch than the other teams. Their cutting style, their shooting, and I feel like I'm getting the third version of the Warriors, the pre-KD, the KD, the post-KD, but a lot of things haven't changed. Kerr's brilliance, Steph Curry's selflessness, and sort of a culture that elevates people. Like Wiggins was weird. It didn't work in Minnesota. And then you put him in here and you're like, he's willing to be like a 3. I think he's been huge in this series. And did you think it would work as well when they got him? Because this is really ideal. He gives you everything you need depending on the night you need him.
Yeah. No, I did not, because Andrew has to be a willing participant as a complimentary player. You have to sell him on the idea that you were a star in Minnesota, and while you got some accolades and you got paid, you weren't winning the ultimate prize. So are you more about, I want to be a star, or are you more about, do I want to play on championship teams? And the beauty and the brilliance of the Golden State Warriors is that they will make you feel like a star at times, even though you are playing a complimentary role. If you're going to have a night, they're going to say, go have a night. That doesn't happen with every team. And it starts with Steph Curry and the way that he talks about guys and the way that he encourages them and the way that he gives them room to blossom. But it's also a function of how the Warriors play. In today's NBA, we see it with most teams. They are so star-centric.
Yes.
That when one of those stars goes down, when one of those stars is compromised, the whole system falls apart because it is so focused on what they do, right?
Yeah.
The Warriors are not like that. It's why they're able to function when Steph doesn't have a great game, or Clay, or Draymond, because they're not dependent on that one guy creating everything. Now, if I want to be sort of a cynical, I could say that's because Steph can't be that guy. He can't physically overwhelm you the way that a Kawhi Leonard or even a Luka Doncic can. But nonetheless, they've built a system that doesn't rely on a superstar player making it go, and that's what makes them so unique in today's NBA.
You know, I said this earlier. I love Luka. We all do. And he's a kid. So, and everybody says, well, there's some Larry Bird. I get it. I see it. But Bird didn't need the ball all the time. There's also a couple disturbing things about Luka. I also see some James Harden and some Melo. He's never in great shape and gives you nothing on the defensive end. That's very mellow, and I think players over time can resent that. The second thing is his usage rate actually goes up in the playoffs. Where you need others to help you, it's more Luka-centric. And that's my thing. You start looking at him, and I'm like, I see some Bird, but I see some Melo, and I see some Harden. Is there anything that concerns you with Luka?
Sure, absolutely, because we've set the bar so high. I mean, it's been the last 3 years that he's been the preseason favorite to win MVP. And then he comes back and he's not in great shape, or they get off to a slow start, and suddenly that goes away. And then he does something great, and it's right back to, oh, he's taking over the league. And to your point, that's exactly right. He has to get into better condition. He has to utilize the pieces around him better. He has to become a better defensive player. He doesn't have to be a great defensive player. He just has to have the kind of conditioning and desire to be able to give you a consistent effort at that end of the floor. Now, all that said, in looking at this particular series, it is the ancillary players that have let the Dallas Mavericks down, because these are wide open threes that they're missing. The Warriors have basically said, we don't think you can consistently shoot the three the entire game. Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith. Like, we don't think you can make that shot and knock us out. And